We have a lot to talk about in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Cyclizar, the Pokemon which uses the new move Shed Tail to pass substitutes to its teammates, might be banned. Annihilape, the new evolution of Primeape, might be banned because of its new move Rage Fist, which can go up to 350 base power. Espathra, the Calm Mind speed boosting psychic type, is also on the radar. We also have the verdict for whether or not Terastallization would be banned in competitive singles. That's not even all the Pokemon that might be banned. So let's take a closer look at what's on the radar in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So while there are a lot of mons that might potentially be banned, I want to talk about the final verdict of Terastallization in 6v6 singles. Now, if you guys didn't know, Terra was recently suspect tested. A suspect test, and I'm not alone, I'm here with Envy. I'm not trying to be rude. Envy's here with me. But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of Pokemon. We play a lot of Pokemon. If you do like this video, leave a like and let me know your thoughts, please. Down below, I want to know your thoughts on basically everything. There's a lot to cover on this video, and subscribe to both of us as well if you do enjoy competitive Scarlet and Violet. So there was recently a suspect test, right, for Terastallization, and this is wild, right, because it's the actual mechanic of the generation. We've seen this before in Dynamax, and Dynamax was ended up illegal in Generation 8 on Pokemon Showdown, but here it remains fully legal. This was insanely close because 351 people were eligible voters. They basically got Rex, which meant they had to ladder on Pokemon Showdown and win enough to qualify for this, and 346 people voted. The reason it's 346 and not all 351 is because at that point nothing really mattered. There was no mathematical change. So the vote was for action or no action, and then under there you had choices. So I'll show you my vote because I got Suspect Rex as well. I want no action. I enjoy the Terastallization meta. I want Terra to stay. Obviously, I'm happy about the results. But after that, you have to pick between 4 different choices. So my first choice was Reveal Terra type at Team Preview. This is very similar to VGC. I think that was a decent one, and that was basically the only one I wanted besides no action. What do you think about that one, Envy?
That was good, yeah. So like, ultimately, I wanted Terra to be present in the metagame, whether it doesn't matter what form. I just didn't want it to go completely.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. But if I had to pick something, this one's fine because if you guys don't know, VGC Events has open team sheet. That means you get to see the opponent's moves and their Terra type. This kind of gets rid of the guessing game, what Terra type they have. This actually helps a lot of newer players too, in my opinion. Like if you guys are you scared about going to VGC Events, go, because I mean, at least you can see their sets and their Terra types. You won't be surprised, right? It comes down to skill at that point, but at least
exactly,
you won't be surprised. Though I do think that as you keep playing, because I mean we're fighting for Terra and people are saying it wasn't skilled. I do think that stuff starts to become more common sense. You start instinctively understanding what your opponent would Terra type to and things like that. Obviously, that's relative to what's going on because they could be whatever type they want. But after that, I put outright ban. Now let me tell you why I put outright ban right after. Because only stab Terra types allowed feels like it just ruins the integrity of Terra types for me, right? If Garganacl or Garganacl, as my friends and I call it, or if Chi-Yu could only become Dark and Fire, which is probably not a good example because those are fantastic Terra types for Chi-Yu. If Rotom can only become Water or Electric, I don't. First off, there's still a double chance that could happen, right? So that doesn't really solve anything for double Pokemon. But I think that it just makes it worse. And it also, I think, makes the meta very HO, even more HO than what it is. Like you saw Palafin always Terra typing into Water on offensive sets or like Steel on bulk up sets. And I just think it doesn't help. Like just the strong Pokemon just become stronger, right? Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu, they straight up use it. I didn't like it. I didn't like just one. And the other one was 1 Terra user per team, and it would be your first team slot. This meant that everybody would know which Pokemon could Terra on the team, so it would be your lead on the team. You don't have to lead off with it, but it would be your lead. So let's say Azelf, not in the game, but let's say Azelf was the first Pokemon on one side, and I had Uxie on my side. Azelf is the only Pokemon on that side that could Terastallize. Uxie's the only one on my side that could Terastallize. Nobody else could. It could still be whatever Terra. I didn't like that. It just sounded like a worse Z move, right? And I feel like both of these kind of just ruined the integrity of it, which is why I put outright ban. But it was no action first, Reveal Terra type slightly second, and then there was a huge jump and then outright ban. But again, what ended up happening is that it ended up fully staying. There was 60% action needed in order to have action, basically. 141 people voted no action, and action was 205 people. I think that's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 people needed to. No, excuse me. I think maybe 6 people, or it's something closer than that. Needed
It was
to vote.
really, really close.
Yeah,
Like
it was a
they
close
needed
one.
60%. It was like 59 point something.
Exactly, 59.25 right here. So it was. I mean, and like saying, well, bro, what about the curve? Just do it, right? No, that's just not how it works. It has to be 60%. Now,
Yeah.
this means terastallization stays fully legal. Absolutely amazing. And I'll have timestamp down below for those who want to see stuff. But there, it says right here, do not, there is potential for future suspects on the subject if deemed appropriate by the community, but is not guaranteed and nothing is likely to happen in the immediate future. Now, I know that Pokemon Home is what they're thinking more of because that's when we'll get new Pokemon like the Hisuians and things like that. But we had hit the. He said, finally, we had hit the threshold for action. Team Preview would have won in a landslide. You guys can likely tell this much from the eye test alone. Outright ban was a very distant second behind it. It was these 2 options struggling to receive much support at all. And yeah, basically, it's insane. Like, had there been action done, it would have just been open team sheet, which I would have been fine with personally. I think I would have been fine.
Okay,
yeah, I would have been fine.
You know what's interesting? To go back on like one of your other points that you made about the Mons having either one of its stabs or its typing for its Terra type, that would kind of be like you're catching a Pokemon and you're just like using whatever Terra type you get with it, right?
Yeah.
And I think it also works really well defensively too, just because like let's say if Tinglu out on Iron Valley or something, you just Terra Ground or something, you can remove a weakness.
Yeah.
So it'll work both offensively and defensively, but
I think it rewards the offense more though, just because the broken Mons are more broken.
Yeah, because I mean the metagame itself is just it's very offensive, but I mean of course you do see stall and things like that as well. I mean it just gives you a boost in your damage, but yeah, it can be used defensively too.
Yeah, and I mean I know a lot of people are mad about this and others aren't. Like I said personally, I would have been fine with either or. I would have been fine with some type of change. I would have been fine, and I'm more than fine with it staying as it is. I'm excited to see how the metagame develops because I feel like it's also super early as well. We're not even 2 months into the meta at this point, so we're still finding things and things are changing. Some people found Dragonite broken, and even though Dragonite is indeed on this list, I personally don't find it busted. But what are your thoughts on terastallization? What are your thoughts on the outcome? Please let us know down below. And again, I'm gonna have timestamps for everything. So this list is huge for what's on the radar. Basically, everything here is slated to potentially be banned. What this means is we actually have no basically what we say doesn't matter with this. And what I mean that the OU Council are people that will be voting.
They've decided
on
it's going to be suspected in the end, basically.
It's not even. It's not suspected. It's just slated. So that means that it can literally be they choose to ban or not ban. They put their names on the list and they choose to ban or not ban. And we're allowed to put. We give our opinions on the thread and things like that, but it doesn't do too much. But yes, first radar is led to the council. That's where Fluttermane and Houndstone was banned. Second radar, which had Palafin and Iron Bundle getting banned as well. And after that, there was basically a suspect test. So first Pokemon on the list is Chi-Yu. Now, if there's anything on this list that I would agree at least needs a suspect test, right? In the very least a suspect test, Chi-Yu is probably the only Mon on this list, for me.
100% agree. 100% agree with this one. I don't know, like the way that it can come in and just destroy any Pokemon that's not Blissey is just crazy, bro.
It even two-shots
do a
Blissey.
KO by overheat.
Yeah.
I mean,
it two-shots Blissey too, actually, with Fire Blast, if it's taking any damage. But yeah, it's if it's specs, yeah, it's insane how strong it is, and it's crazy. Like this Mon can run literally 4 stabs if it wants to, right? On specs, if you get usually it's overheat plus flamethrower because you have the super nuke and you have the nuke, and then you run like a Terra Blast, either grass nukes Dondozo, fairy smashes like Tinglu for 2 KO and Roaring Moon. These are all like common switch-ins. So
or Psychic in that slot and then Dark Pulse,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's basically one of the Mons that just has no switching. Scarf is really good too and can Terra type. It Terra types into, like it said, Darker Fire if it wants to, or those others. Scarf, faster than Gholdengo, one of the most common Pokemon in the tier. The second most common Pokemon in the tier right now. The first is Great Tusk, which is also faster than Rapid Spin boosted Great Tusk, max speed, because Rapid Spin does boost your speed as well. So Chi-Yu, absolutely very hard to switch into. And honestly, during my Rex, for 30 of my games, it's probably why I lost some of them, but for 30 of my games, I just let off with Chi-Yu and I was limit testing, right? I Terra'd into a fire type and clicked specs overheat for 30 of my games. It's no joke for 30 of my games. Just see what I could kill if it's in front of me, no matter what it is. Didn't even care about typing. And that Mon just, majority of the games it actually did it. So We'll read what they have to say, and then we'll keep going from there. If I had $1 for every time someone asked me to ban Chi-Yu during the middle of the Terastallization suspect, I might be able to buy out Smoke on. Sadly, I do not have the money. I do not have that splitting, and I do have a splitting headache. Encountering Chi-Yu can be a headache-inducing practice in its own right. The combination of 135 base special attack with Beads of Ruin, an ability that dwarfs the opponent's special defense by a multiplier of 0.75%, gives the Pokedex Ruinous Pokemon. Basically, it gives it 197 special attack here, and it's really hard to switch into, especially couple this with unmatched power, respectable but not overwhelming 100 base speed. And 100 base speed is really good in this metagame, right? You got to remember, we don't have Pokemon like Tapu Koko running around, and we don't have like Zeraora and things like running around. We don't have super high Tornadus running around. We don't have super high speed tiers, right? Like the most common Pokemon, Great Tusk and Gholdengo, they're under the speed tier. Obviously, Iron Valiant is above it, Dragapult's above it, but you can run Scarf and also you resist Dragapult's move, and Draco doesn't kill you from full anyway. So again, two most common sets, Choice Specs and Choice Scarf, talks about it here, how they're being really good. If you use it on Sun, it's a super nuke, what a lot of people did. And like Tinglu is one of the best switch-ins for it, but even if Tinglu gets hit once, like it's not a switch-in next time. You do pressure this set though. I won't say it's not unbeatable, right? Obviously, if it's unbeatable, we'd be losing every other game we play. Or you'd be it. But there are definitely defensive checks, like Roaring Moon runs heavy duty boots per Roost, and it's able to deal with it. And Tinglu obviously doesn't have the recovery, but it can at least threaten it, take the hit, threaten it with Earthquake, and also can Terra Water if it's low enough and knock it out with Earthquake. Because
you do also limit the core. You do also limit it with the the Gholdengo plus Hazard Core. Like you just immediately block, and you'll most of the time see Chi-Yu with like Specs or Scarf, like a lot of the time, just because they want to break and outrun stuff. But that does help, of course, but still.
Yeah, it's still definitely a problem to switch into, but it's not unbeatable. But there are also sets like Nassabla Heavy Duty Boots. Sub Heavy Duty Boots is one of my favorite sets because you sub on a lot of switches, and you can either fish for Dark Pulse, flinches, or just Flamethrower. I love Specs Chi-Yu. Specs Chi-Yu is like, if I'm fighting Stall, okay, this is the Pokemon I gotta keep correctly, right? This is the mon I just gotta keep, bring it in. I almost Terra immediately with it if I'm running Terra Dark, just because it just means less damage from Stealth Rock. But this is probably the mon that deserves at least a suspect. Now, this is a slate, so it's either going to be banned or not banned. There's no in between, right? It's banned or not banned. But I think it deserves, in the very least, a suspect, and a ban is probably,
where it's headed.
Yeah, it's probably where it's headed. It's probably going to get 9. There's 9 members on the OU Council, and I believe it's going to get 9 out of 9 votes. So Cyclizar, this one is, well, let's show the sample sets because they basically talk about what I'd be showing on there. But you have Shed Tail, Knockoff, Rapid Spin, Taunt, or Draco Meteor, Heavy Duty Boots, or Guava Berry, or whatever. Terra types, Ghost Steel. You also see Fairy. And then you have Choice Scarf, which can do the exact same thing. Sometimes will overheat Draco, special attack investment, kills Dragapult, smacks, can smack, especially if you Terra Fire, you smack Gholdengo as well as Corviknight, which is really nice. The big thing about this Pokemon is Shed Tail. The way Shed Tail works is that it takes 50% of Cyclizar's HP and passes a substitute to the opponent, getting them in for free. Now, why is this good? First off, Cyclizar is base 121 speed. I talked about how things aren't very fast. So Cyclizar is one of the fastest Pokemon. It's faster than one of the best Pokemon, like Iron Valiant, right? Like top 10 Pokemon uses faster than it. Can Shed Tail as the Iron Valiant goes for Moonblast, and you can bring out like a Steel type safely or something safely behind a sub. Volcarona and Corviknight up, an Iron Moth and Agility plus Fire Moth, booster energy type of thing. So Shed Tail is really, really good. Now, the other thing that makes Cyclizar really good too is obviously it has great utility. You guys saw Knockoff, you guys saw Taunt, and you saw Rapid Spin. So it provides a lot of support for the team. And the last thing is Regenerator. This mon gets multiple, even without Citrus Berry, even without whatever, a Guava Berry, whatever. It gets multiple Shed Tails in a game because it ignores hazards with Heavy Duty Boots. And it has Regenerator to always get back health. So it gets multiple hazards. It has Knockoff to threaten Gholdengo, which sometimes comes in on Rapid Spin, right? So it can actually threaten Ghost types. And it supports teams, and you're usually seeing this thing on teams with screens, right? You'll see this thing with Grimmsnarl, with Light Skin and Reflect, passing to Annihilate, passing to Hatterene, passing to Volk, passing to Dragonite, passing to Dondozo, right? Just set up Pokemon that can really take advantage of the free sub. And the difference between this and Earthworm is, again, you can get multiple Shed Tails with this Pokemon, and you have a bunch of other utility, whereas Earthworm has, obviously, Spikes and Stealth Rock, but it's a slower mon, and it can only Shed Tail usually once, and it has to take a hit for the most part. Now, Envy, do you think it's still Cyclizar, or do you think it's Shed Tail that's the problem? I want to know.
I think Chien-Pao is absolutely the problem here, because Cyclizar on its own is just no more than like a utility Pokemon with knockoff Rapid Spin. I mean, it could be offensive, but I mean, it's not gonna be like crazy levels of other mons we've seen. So I do think it is Shed Tail, and we have proof that even a Orthworm, for example, right? You see some usage in that Pokemon for Shed Tail specifically.
Yeah.
Even though it gets rocks and stuff too, but I think Shed Tail is the problem here. This is a similar scenario, I think, to
Annihilape?
the Last Respects.
Last Respects, yes.
Houndstone.
Yes. That's close.
Right, and then it was clearly the move. I think that like clearly the move Last Respects that was the problem with that Pokemon. But they were like, okay, we gotta wait for Basculegion to see. But we have two Pokemon that can prove it here. We have Cyclizar and we have Orthworm. So I think it's just the move actually, not the Pokemon. That's in my opinion.
They actually have a little paragraph here that we're about to read about it. But I do want to say that Orthworm did recently fall down to UU, but it was OU for at least a month because of it.
Yes, because of Shed Tail.
So it's on the radar for the third time this generation. This mon was on the radar 3 times, and it's definitely like a high tier Pokemon just because of its ability to do that. Just because of its utility on those type of teams. But before we discuss Cyclizar's presence, I want to note that Cyclizar would be voted on, not Shed Tail. Another Pokemon, Orthworm, exists with Shed Tail and is nowhere near being on the radar, even if it dropped to you recently. Cyclizar's unique characteristics, such as a high-speed regenerator and having access to the other utility moves, are what truly allows it to support teams in a fashion some deem to be the catalyst of many issues, thus making it the root and focus of the potential potential tiering action. I just think that, like...
I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why. Because let's say, hypothetically, this Pokemon did not have Shed Tail. Now, would it be on the radar?
No.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be on the radar.
And it kind of goes back to what happened with, you said, with the last Reflexmon, right? Houndstone. There was literally a post that said, "We know that the move is good," and then later on it said, "What was? Can you actually quote it? Because you were the one who made the comment about it too."
Oh, okay. I think it was on the Blender video. I posted a comment on it. Let me pull that up real quick.
You don't have to read the comment word for word. You can verbatim, like whatever you want to do. But
verbatim was basically, it was like, it just hurt my head because it was like, it literally just contradicted itself in the post where it says like, oh yeah, we know it's Last Respects, but we can't, say that it's Last Respects when there's only one Pokemon there. But you already know it is. Like, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, I think is what I said.
But the main reason for that was, and the reason for that was because Basculegion is going to be coming out with Home. And that mon's gonna have Last Respects too, and obviously that mon's gonna be broken, even more broken. That's adaptability with Last Respect, right? So I mean, it's broken in Rambass, man. That they want to.
That kind of logic just hurts my head. Like I don't understand.
I feel like the move could have been banned now, and then we retest it when Basculegion comes out, and then ban it there too. But I mean, it is what it is, right? They don't want to do complex.
I do agree. If you don't want to separate pieces out and stuff like that, which they don't do often. Then Pokemon.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it though. I just don't like that they weren't willing to do complex bans. But one of the things, and I know Terastallization is an exception because we're trying very hard to keep it on Smogon, right? I'm not in part OU Council. I just said we because I play Smogon rules. They're trying very hard to keep it on Smogon, right? Because the backlash and the anger would be huge from not just people, but I'm pretty sure Chaos, the owner of Smogon himself, as well, would be mad about it. But I think that if you're willing to go through hoops to change how Terra is based on the base game, just do the same thing when it comes to
that
moves.
Itself is a complex. That literally itself is complex.
It's a complex ban. So like, if just ban Shed Tail. Cyclizar is a good utility Pokemon. That's all it is. It would be a good. It's a bicycle. I use it because I don't feel like walking. I want to bike somewhere, and that's it. But Is it better? Is it better than a car? No. Like that's. I don't know why I did that.
Do what we did with Baton Pass. Apply it to Shed Tail. Shed Tail claws.
Literally. I mean, I don't understand why Shed Tail isn't in the same vein as Baton Pass. Like, is Mr. Mime broken, or because of its insane utility with Calm Mind and Taunt and Filter, like, or Vaporeon with Iron Defense? No, it was Baton Pass. Obviously,
it was actually, Yep.
Again, I mean, we're making light of it, guys, but I truly feel that, like, this in particular, it's Shed Tail. Like, it just
sounds silly. It's just silly. It's silly.
It's on a. Cyclizar is basically not a ban-worthy Pokemon, in my opinion. That's it, right? Like, that's just the mon that I don't think deserves it.
It's not at all.
It is, in my opinion. But Annihilape. Now, this is controversial because very similar ban the move. That's how I feel, right? I'm ban the move Rage Fist. Now I did I did a video with Primeape, which had Rage Fist as well, and Primeape didn't do so great in that video. I'll be completely honest. However, I've gone high ladder with it, and I know NJMP has gone to high ladder, and a lot of people have gone to high ladder with a Primeape just to show that it was Rage Fist, not Annihilape. And then I know Annihilape, Primeape is also tearing down lower tiers right now in RU with bulk up Rage Fist as well. There's only 2 Pokemon Rage Fist. If it was only Annihilape and not Primeape, which wouldn't make sense because that's how it evolves, then obviously it'd be Rage Fist. I think it'd be banned here because there would no other Pokemon have. But maybe not because of Shed Tail. Maybe not because of Last Respects. Who knows? But Annihilape is a Pokemon that the way Rage Fist works, where it starts at 50 base power. When you get hit by a move, it goes up at 50, right? So it gets incredibly strong. It gets incredibly strong the more you get hit. And the problem is that Annihilape has base 110 HP, base 115 attack, and then 80 and 90 defenses, which is solid when you combine that with its HP, right? A lot of them run, not all of them run max special defense, but they run a good, this is just one set you can run, but a lot of them run speed for certain things. They run either Rage Fist, Drain Punch, Taunt, and Bulk Up. You'll see, and I'll go to their things here so I can show the other ones, but you see Chester Barrier leftovers, and you also have Lead, which has Stealth Rock, Close Combat, Rage Fist, and Taunt, and the idea is if you have Final Gambit, you can throw yourself away to do damage. Now, this is a very, very, very controversial Pokemon. And initially, I did think it was broken as well. I thought early on in the meta, yeah, this mon is straight up broken. Though I always thought it was Rage Fist, not the Pokemon itself, right? But as I've been playing more and more, I'm like, I'm just not hitting this Pokemon, and it's not doing too much damage. And like, there's so many videos of proof, and so many times we laddered, and so many streams, and not just me, but other high ladder people playing, where this mon is just not winning like it used to. Of course, if you play a more defensive play style or stall, it can definitely just come in on weaker moves and then just click Rage Fist and beat like even Dondozo 1v1. Though even that plays, as long as Dondozo doesn't touch it and then Wave Crash beats it later, as long as it doesn't Terra Water, you can beat it. But as well, that also has to do with Terra. So I'm in the middle with this mon. I currently don't find it like as crazy as it was, and I feel like with Rocky Helmet chip, and I mean they even say Terastallization on Garchomp and Garganacl respectively can help Garganacl, excuse me, because I know we're gonna get some mad comments. Respectfully can help in the efforts to chip it down, but oftentimes this is a multi-Pokemon effort and the risk of getting key turns wrong, setting you far back is substantial. And see, I kind of disagree with that because like you have to hit, like even offense, right? Let's take Iron Treads. Iron Treads, Earthquakes as Annihilape comes in because they try and spin block. That's another thing. People do try and spin block with Annihilape, right? So they're usually coming in on a Great Tusk or an Iron Treads, and this risks taking damage, which isn't necessarily a big risk, right? But if it's an offensive one, it does 43%, right? And if they are offensive, they're usually Terra Ground. So, and this is something I've done with offense. This is something that I've done on just more offensive teams in general. I Earthquake into Terra Ground, Earthquake, and Annihilape is dead, right? Or I knock it off. I knock it off just so it doesn't have leftovers. And then, yeah, I boost its Rage Fist, but as long as I get a hit off on it and I've knocked it off, I have Rocky Helmet, which is almost on the majority of teams, right? You have
Rocky Helmet. I love Rocky Helmet, bro. And like, yeah, the thing with Annihilape is it's difficult to say just because that Rage Fist set is bulk up and everything is crazy because it doesn't die. It doesn't die easily. So you're forced to like kind of dance around it for a little bit, not attack it. You have Rocky Helmet to pressure. Then you have to like figure out a way. Can you trick it? Can you status it? Can you do something else to it? Like, I think defensive counterplay is the best way. Otherwise, you have to hit it really, really hard. And
yeah, usually, I was about to allude to that. Like, usually, if you're running offense, you knock it off, hit it once, and then go Chi-Yu if you're specs and knock it out, and then or you
use overheat, bro.
Yeah,
like,
but that's thing. Obviously, yeah, because it Terra Waters. It Terra Waters usually.
Yeah. No. This was even without Terra, bro. Without Terra, it survived Chi-Yu's overheat.
That's a roll, but that's a roll. If it's specs, that's a roll. But if anything, if it's anything, it's a roll from full. But I don't even know if it's a roll, but it's definitely a roll. But yeah, usually it's Terra Water because water is just, when in doubt, become Suicune, right? When in doubt, become Toxapex, right? When in doubt, become a bulky water because bulky waters are amazing and the Mon resists the strongest move in the game currently, which is Overheat from Chi-Yu. Specs Overheat from Chi-Yu. But a lot of games we've been playing, man, and I feel like this Mon is just, yes, it has a specific way of beating it, but I don't think it's like as, oh man, I'm towing the line and I'll lose if I get all these plays wrong type of thing that it was maybe a month ago, in my opinion. That's what I personally feel about Annihilape.
Yeah, I definitely think that people have adapted to it and figured out, okay, this is a Pokemon that can do this, X, Y, Z, and like, okay, this is how we have to play around it. Because at first, because I think I was one of the first people to feature it with the Water Translation, it was
You were.
just, yeah, it was crazy. It was actually like nobody knew how to counter it. But people started like learning, and then once they learn, it's like, okay, it's a little easier now. But definitely a Pokemon that I'm on the fence about, I think, just because of you can run more sets than just bulk up as well. So I don't know. I think Rage Fist is really good.
I do like this line that Finch added here. Counterplay to it is still evolving and is stimulating endeavor to try and minimize it, which many cite as a positive it remaining around. But there are large costs and risks associated with that, making Lion one of the premier members of this tiering radar. So I do like that he at least acknowledges that, yes, it's still evolving. And because things take time. Things take time. Bad games take time to develop. Like I said, when I see this Mon, it's not as like... I'm aware of it, right? I look at it as like, okay, cool. I got to deal with this Mon. But it's not as broken immediately as I felt like it was before. And again, if it was up to me, I'd ban the move, not the Mon. But I mean, that'd be a complex ban and yada yada yada. Right, Garganacl. This Mon. This Mon. Bro, if we're talking about anything, if we're talking about evolving counterplay, Showdown, probably more than recently, like probably a month ago, they got Covert Cloak. Yes. Counterplay absolutely exists and can be used by timely Covert Cloak use, which has been seen an uptick recently. I was about to say this. So the reason Garg is on this list, right? Garg is nasty. It is nasty. It has really high HP and special defense, like 306, right? It's like for a rock type, like this is insane. 100 HP, 130 defense, 90 special defense. Insane stats. Its ability is crazy. It resists Ghost, and it can't be statused. No burn, no para, no nothing. Guys, if you're using any other ability on this thing, you are messing up. This is one of the greatest abilities in the game. Meaning that if it Terra'd into Ghost, it's neutral versus Ghost. It's not super effective damage. So, typically Terra Fairies, Terra Waters, Terra Flying. And the set is Recover, Body Press, Salt Cure, and Iron Defense. And Salt Cure is the thing that makes this Mon what it is. It deals 1/8 max HP each turn. And... now, we've had moves that do consistent damage. And also does a quarter on steel and water types, which is crazy. Yeah, 25%.
They switch out, it's still going. And they die, it's still going.
You can switch out, it still goes. You die, it still goes. We have moves like Magma Storm, Fire Spin, that last a couple turns, that miss. This is 100% accurate. Obviously, it's 40 base power, but they miss. And if you switch out or die, they end. Right?
Like G-Max Wildfire, does that stay?
For 4 turns, and then it's done. That has a set turns. So, something like that. So, like, Salt Cure, this move is the greatest in the game because water types, which consistently come in on rock types, they're taking 25%. Corviknight cannot beat this Pokemon 1v1, even if it's Iron Defense, especially if it's Iron Defense is alongside, because you only have 8 Roosts, and once a Salt Cure once, you're taking 25% per turn. So, like, this Mon is extremely annoying. And, the Iron Defense one is one a lot of people are running, but the best set, in my opinion, is the Stealth Rock, Recover, Salt Cure, Protect. That just sets up Stealth Rock, Salt Cures you, and then Protect Scouts and gets the chip damage turn per turn. It's one of my favorite. And you can use Body Press over Stealth Rock if you want too. It's incredibly annoying Mon. But again, counterplay exists and it's evolving. One of my favorite counterplays to this is Covert Cloak Gholdengo. Now, the way Covert Cloak works is it ignores the effects of moves. So one of my favorite turns ever, or one of my favorite things on Pokemon Showdown is when they have Garganacl out. I go Gholdengo. They go for Salt Cure. They do 3% and the turn ends. That is my favorite thing because Salt Cure doesn't work because of Covert Cloak, and it's not.
That's actually that's a battle spot strategy too. That's one that I've seen there as well.
Yeah, I think that's something we took from Battle Spot actually. And that's not the only one running Covert Cloak, but Gholdengo is the best one because it resists Rock and it's immune to Body Press. So it's incredible. It usually runs, and that Gholdengo runs a little bit of bulk and runs Nasty Plot. And I think I'll show you it really quick right here. Let me see if I have the team. Is it right here? Nope, it's the one right under. It's my Cinderace team. So it's this one. Yeah, so this Gholdengo is modest, runs a little bit of HP, has some speed. And this Mon is amazing. Terra Flying, so you beat Great Tusks and stuff like that. Obviously, this one, you're not throwing in on Great Tusks, Earthquakes and stuff because you don't want to get knocked off because you want to keep the Covert Cloak. But it's an incredible set. It's good, and it beats Garganacl. Just 100%. It beats it 100%. But it is extremely annoying, and obviously with Terra Fairy and stuff, it's really hard to take down with its HP and its special defense stat. It's a good Pokemon. It's an annoying Pokemon. With Terra,
I find myself switching around a lot with this Pokemon. Like switching around a lot.
Yeah, you have to, but counterplay, like it literally has a counter. Like if you have Covert Cloak, and it's not like Covert Cloak is a bad item, right? Not being able to be Thunderbolt parried, not being able to be Shadow Ball Spadef dropped, like, or
it's a good item, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good item on the Pokemon, and exactly this pool of counterplay is likely more vast for Garganacl than some of the more pressing Pokemon we mentioned here, and that could be saving grace. But we forced to ignore Garganacl just because it's different in nature than the others posted. It's a more defensive mon, right? It just doesn't die, type of thing. But yeah, it certainly does possess the outright strength to break through. But it's definitely very annoying, and if your team isn't prepared for it, that Protect Salt Cure set is crazy. What do you think, though, Envy?
Is this the first defensive mon
Nah,
the list?
No, I mean technically Cyclizar.
Oh yeah.
But and I mean Mega Sableye was just banned in Aura at the end of it. But
oh yeah, I forgot about that mon.
But yeah,
I don't know. I think like yeah, I feel like this is kind of a similar story to Annihilape. Maybe like less Annihilape. Like it's just there's counterplays just kind of changing every single time because I mean this is one of the mons that came in like this is another one that I've seen early on in the metagame. It was like okay, Iron Defense. Now what? Terra gone. Like what do you do now? It was tough to kind of play around, but I feel like there's more ways. Like Covert Cloak is a really good way. It's just it puts Covert Cloak on something. It just completely nullifies its best move basically.
Especially if it's that Stealth Rock Protect set, it can't do anything versus you.
Exactly.
But it's just I don't know. It's just one of those. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like this mon. I don't think it's ban worthy.
I like encoring it with Screamtail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can encore with Screamtail. Even if it's set up to +6, Screamtail takes like 17.
It takes nothing.
Yeah,
it
like
takes
19,
nothing.
like some of that.
You wishing you heal everything up.
Yeah. You encore it, and that's one of the few counter. There's a bunch of them. Get up layers with your Tinglu and then whirlwind it out type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know if that should be on the list to be honest.
Yeah. Well, Espathra is on this list. So the way Espathra works, guys, is it's basically Speed Boost, Calm Mind. The best. I mean, we have the sets right here. Yes, this is the set. It's literally the set. That is the set. It's max defense, or damn near max defense, some speed, HP, Calm Mind, Sword Power, Dazzling Gleam or Terra Blast, depending on Fairy or Fighting, Protect or Roost. You could also run Terra Ghost and then use that to kill Gholdengo in one hit, but that's definitely not worth it as it, what's it called? Why would you want that when you have coverage versus Ghost or coverage versus
exactly.
Coverage versus Dark, which is better, or like T-Tar versus that. But you either run Terra Blast Fighting to hit King Gambit and Tinglu, or Dazzling Gleam to hit Chien-Pao and also be Fairy type, which lets you set up on usually this thing comes in on Chi-Yu clicking Dark Pulse, or Chi-Yu tries to click Dark Pulse versus you Calm Mind and you Terra Fairy, especially if you Calm Mind once or twice. Like Chi-Yu has to click Dark Pulse versus you if you're a Psychic type, and then it gets its own speed boost every single turn and Store Power is there. I think that Roost is way better than Protect in my opinion, or was at this point. But MV,
I agree with that.
Thoughts on Espathra? And I'll probably read this as well.
Yeah. I think one of the big reasons Espathra does so well is because it has like support right from like Shed Tail, for example. I've seen a lot of Shed Tail into Espathra. I've seen a lot of screens into Espathra. I've seen like it requires like that kind of team composition and support and stuff like that. Speed Boost is a tough thing to think about when you're pairing it with Stored Power, because it is getting constant boosts while sitting there. It's getting stronger every single time.
It knocks the Pokemon get stronger right after, yeah.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing about where I think that this Pokemon is also just really good with Terastallization. If there was no Terastallization, I think that this Pokemon would probably not be on the list. So here's the thing, like with Terastallization, because the decision was to keep Terastallization fully as is, there's gonna be a lot of Pokemon that they're gonna keep putting Pokemon on the list like that because there's so many Pokemon that benefit just because of Terastallization. It's so broken because of it. So I don't know. This Mon, I'm iffy about as well. I think I don't know, because I feel like I don't have a problem. Like I think that there's good counterplay for it, but like a lot of teams do get overwhelmed by just constant Sword Power boosts.
Yeah, and the big thing is obviously, like you said, it's the dual screens from Grimmsnarl as well as the Shed Tail passing from Cyclizar that gives this thing a free boost, right? But
yeah.
like a lot of teams have a lot of like Tinglu's on a ton of teams, and that boy whirlwinds it out.
Correct.
And Gholdengo, basically Gholdengo almost always beats it unless you let it get weakened, because you can trick it, and even if you tricked it and they switch out predicting your trick, or they have protect and they switch out after, you can still beat it later when make a rain. You just force them out. Nasty Plot always beats it too, and Scizor's common, doesn't set up on Chi-Yu as easy as it wants to. And obviously, again, depending on its Terra type, if it Terra Fairies, it can't beat King Gambit. If it Terra Fightings, it's just worse in general.
Yeah, like one door closes, another door opens, basically, with this kind of Pokemon. In terms of countering or dealing with it, I don't think it's that broken though.
I think it was solid when we used it a while back. I don't think it's as crazy right now.
Yeah.
Personally, I just don't like. I think a lot of the issues, if they want to ban Shed Tail, that fixes a lot of what Espathra is.
A lot of the issues, yeah. A lot of these Pokemon here are put on Shed Tail teams, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, literally. This is one of my favorite Pokemon of this generation, right? I got Low Kicks and I got Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao is physical Chi-Yu, right? That's basically, this is its third time on the radar, by the way. So it's survived 2 times before on the radar. I think that Chien-Pao is one of the greatest Pokemon in the tier, but I feel like a lot of people are super high on Chi-Yu for good reason. But this is basically Super Weavile, right? This put Weavile out of commission, right? It's Weavile with a fighting move, Weavile with being able to lower the opponent's defenses, which is amazing. I think the fact that it has Ice Spinner, excuse me, which doesn't miss is amazing too. A lot of people like Icicle Crash, not me. Why? I don't get the point of Icicle Crash on Choice Band when I 2-KO everything in the metagame. Right, that doesn't resist. I 2-KO everything. And then you enter Terastallization. And Terastallizing with the Pokemon is probably one of the most satisfying things. You Terra Dark and click Crunch. Corviknight comes in and takes 80%. Right? Dondozo gets 2-KO with Stealth Rock if you're Adamant. I love running Adamant on this Pokemon because the best set, in my opinion, and we'll have... And Pokemon are... People are adapting, but the best set, in my opinion... why don't they have... Okay, I'm about to say, why don't they have Adamant? But it's Ice Spinner, Crunch, Ice Shard, and Sacred Sword. Exactly. I think Sucker Punch is bad on Choice Band, personally. Why would you want to risk not being able to attack with your broken, and by I'm using the word broken like loosely. I don't actually mean it's broken, but your crazy attacker. And then obviously the heavy duty boots are Life Orb that runs Ice Spinner, Crash, Crunch, Ice Shard, Sucker Punch, and Swords Dance, Sacred Sword. Great Pokemon. The metagame has definitely started to adapt a lot more. We're seeing a lot more Azumarill right now, which is cool. That Mon recently moved back up to OU. We're seeing defensive Quaquaval, which is really cool with the bulk up Aqua Step that's not 2-KO'd by that and able to take on Chi-Yu. And then it also struggles with Pokemon like Iron Hands, Garganacl, depending if it hasn't Terra'd, Dondozo, if it hasn't taken enough damage. So it always struggles. And then King Gambit as well. Like there's always 50-50s of playing King Gambit because if they have not Terra'd, King Gambit could just become whatever type it wants and live a hit. And even if you do predict their Terra, right? Let's say they Terra Fairy, you click Ice Spinner, you're probably not killing King Gambit anyway, and it's killing you back with Iron Head. So, thoughts on Chien-Pao?
Yeah, I agree. Remember, didn't you make a video that was like, oh, special attackers are more broken than physical attackers, something like that?
Yes.
I feel like you did make a video. Yes, I remember that. This is a case here, I think, that's kind of similar when you're looking at Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu, where there's, I think, there's more counterplay for Chien-Pao. You got Iron Defense Mons, you got Quaquaval, you got like all kinds of stuff like that. Quaquaval. But this Mon I think is really, really good Pokemon this generation. I mean, priority wise is so good. Terastallization makes it very difficult to beat as well, depending on your Terra type. Chien-Pao is, I would say this is definitely in my top 3 like best
Mons in this tier.
Most I think so.
Do you think it's ban worthy though with Terra staying?
With Terra staying, maybe. Like, you think about it, right? I mean, like you said, Corviknight 2-KO'd. What literally switches into this Mon and doesn't get 2-KO'd?
But if it's banded, it takes Stealth Rock, and if it's heavy duty boots, it's not as strong, which like makes a big difference in my opinion. Like,
that's true too, but this is the exact same thing for Chi-Yu, right? Like, it's like
the
same
difference
kind
with
of thing.
Chi-Yu is the base power of moves and the secondary effects. Like, whereas, yes, Icicle Crash can flinch, but it misses. Whereas Dark Pulse can flinch and doesn't miss. And Overheat is 100 billion base power off of my 1,000 billion.
Overheat is definitely a big one, yeah. Crunch defense drops, I've seen Crunch defense drops. I've seen Icicle Crash flinches.
I hate using Crash,
so
dude. I would hate to miss with my best mon, but
that's overheat for you too, right? Like
yeah, but
overheat
overheat's
and then,
different, bro, because I know they're switching. Like that's
Yeah.
the difference, right? Like you bring out Chi, you're probably switching out. They
That's
bring
why
out
that's why I think Chi is above. Chi is definitely above.
way
Chien-Pao.
above.
I don't know. Like, yeah, definitely. Like this mon put Weavile on the bench and was like, "Sit there, buddy. Let me take over for a bit this gen." But I don't know.
I think it being ice type, it has a lot of more offensive counterplay than the
Ice
dark.
is a really good type. Yeah.
But defensive counterplay, as in like, by that I mean like take Chi for instance, it resists both of Gholdengo's stabs, right? And you have to focus blast it. Gholdengo versus Chien-Pao makes it rain, can't miss, can Terra fighting, beat it 1v1. Right? I think the also thing, like I said, is banned or something. Dragonite is one of the most common Pokemon. Dragonite's E-Speed, kill it at +1 as long as it's taking Stealth Rock is a guaranteed kill.
Do they run Terra Ghost? Because I've actually not seen it try to Ghost.
So some SD Chien-Pao, SD3 attacks, and sometimes it runs no priority on Terra Ghost. Runs Terra Ghost to deal with literally Dragonite.
Dragonite also like body press Corviknight.
Yeah, body
too,
press as also
fighting moves and
sometimes Iron Valiant clicking close combat, and also it lets it live a Moonblast as well because if it's not weak to it, it lets it live. So if it's like booster energy, so yeah, they do run Terra Ghost sometimes. I mean, we have the comment sets right here. He put darker ice, but SD with no priority does run Terra Ghost.
Yeah, ooh, they don't know about Ghost yet.
It's a cool check, but I mean, I think it's just way easier to deal with naturally, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't even kill. I think the big thing is it doesn't kill Great Tusk, right? No matter what they say, it won't kill Great Tusk unless it's Terra Ice, Adamant Choice Band, and Great Tusk is not at max HP, max defense, and can't Terra. Like, that's the only way. But super good Pokemon, super strong Pokemon. I think that after Chi-Yu gets banned, I can actually use better answers to Chien-Pao too, or like I can shift. By that I mean like the metagame shifts from I don't need the special defensive Ting-Lu in the world and XYZ to be able to deal with this, where I can run more Fizz Def type of thing. So we'll see. But
it's definitely going to be a shift in like what you need on your team, right? Because it's like, okay, this is the mon that's going to like destroy my team if I don't have a switch into it. And then it's like, okay, well, let's just take the weight off here. Oh, there's a huge physical attack here. Oh, let's put this physical on now. It's it changes a lot.
It does. But I'm still like I wouldn't vote ban on this one personally. All right, I really wouldn't, dude.
No.
What are you doing, D Knight? What are you doing here, bro?
Come on.
Now listen, I don't even have to have Showdown open because they give the sets, which is really helpful. I appreciate that. Most common set: Terra Normal, Dragonite, E-Speed. That's Adamant here, which is interesting. I definitely see a lot more Jolly in my opinion.
A lot more Jolly, yes.
It's like being faster than Polt, I think is important.
Dragapult and and
like some variations of Ape and other things like that. But Breloom, Jolly Breloom. But anyway, so yeah, this is one of the most common sets. And also it's interesting to see they have HP. Some of them do run HP like this. I also run Roost on 0 HP as well. But you have Dragonite with Terra, uses it really well. Has heavy duty boost with multi-scale, so it's taking less from full. And then runs Dragonite, E-Speed, Earthquake, almost always. And then you have either Ice Spinner, Fire Punch, or Roost on that set. And then this bulkier version allows it to take like 2 Dark Pulses from Chi-Yu, which is important. Also like Focus Blast from like Gholdengo after heavy duty boots. Big thing about it is basically a super Terra abuser. That's literally it. It is a super Terra abuser. Dragonite surge from the outskirts of relative seats to prominence once again. Multi-scale in black and white. Z-moves in Sun and Moon. Heavy duty boots in Sword and Shield. And now Terastallization Scarlet and Violet serves as a saving grace for the once diminished original pseudo legendary that remains very viable and effective. One could even say it's potent as it exists in the shadows of Uber icon Extreme Killer Arceus Normal with its Terra Normal antics. Of course, it lacks the natural bulk and other tools that Arceus possesses, making the comparison more flavor than practice. But the general premise remains tantalizing. Dragonite can become normal type on whim to boost priority extreme speed and neutralize all of its would-be weaknesses, allowing for a comfortable dragonness. And this is important, right? When you become normal, obviously you're not weak to ice, you ain't weak to dragon, you ain't weak to fairy anymore, you ain't weak to rock anymore. Obviously, their drawbacks to strategy. First off, the one is having to Terra Dragonite is the only way to make it like effectively use a set. Otherwise, regular Dragonite is just not that strong. And there is so much counterplay to this. The biggest one being Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash either runs Terra Ghost and Terra Ghost
Steel.
or Terra Steel, exactly. Fizz Def, Will-O-Wisp, Protect, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump. That is the most common one. You also have Trick, Choice Scarf ones, Trick, Will-O-Wisp, Hydro Pump, Volt Switch. So this set completely destroys Dragonite. You Terra into the Ghost, can't E-Speed, you can't Earthquake because of Levitate. If it's Fire Punch, doesn't do much. You Will-O-Wisp it anyway. Ice Spinner, you resist prior, so not going to have it. If it's Roost, they can't beat you. Just Volt Switch around and come back in repeatedly. Terra Steel, same as that thing. You resist that. I beat it 1v1 from just recovering and protecting. But a lot of drawbacks. Common Unaware Pokemon, obviously. Dondozo always beats it 1v1. Clodsire, not so much. If it is one Unaware, just because Earthquake will 2-hit KO regardless, and they're running max defense sets, which even then, I think they get 2-hit KO'd. Bulk Up Corviknight beats it 1v1, or non-Bulk Up Corviknight as well if it's not running Fire Punch, because most Corviknight run Body Press. A lot of them do. And it's interesting because Finchinator has something right here. And I know he only put this on the list because people said it, but I personally struggle to write much more as I do not find it to be broken in the slightest, but rather a great Pokemon that belongs among the high-ranked options on something like the viability rankings or usage stats.
It was wise of him to put it there. It was wise.
Agreed. Honestly, I couldn't have worded it better myself. I agree. It's a great Pokemon. It's not broken.
It's not. It's really not.
It's literally not. Like, the best Scarfers beat it in the tier. Gholdengo can at least trick it and lock it into a move. If it can't Terra, it's not great. Rotom is common, right? Rotom's common because Great Tusk is number 1. Corviknight is common. Now, there are other Terra types here. This only says normal, but you can easily you can easily Terra Fire, which is really cool because it allows you to beat Corviknight, but it also lets you avoid the Will-O-Wisp from Rotom, and then you can E-Speed. Do a lot. If you have to, this involves having Great Tusk and knocking it off and beating it, but it allows you to avoid that. Allows you to resist the Fairy move as well as the Ice move, which is pretty cool. So I've definitely used Terra Fire. I've also used Terra Steel with Iron Head in order to knock out Iron Valiant at +1. So there are definitely options like that, or like Skeledirge, like do a decent chunk of damage. I did that in a tournament where I Earthquake the Skeledirge coming in. Did about 40-something%.
I mean, the Terra Fairy.
They Terra Faired as I clicked Iron Head expecting that. And I got the flinch, which is what I went for, but also because it was the play. Like, it was the play. Like, if I got a lot
Classic
of it.
Classic.
Pokegame Classic. There are also defensive sets that run Hurricane Body Press, and I've also seen one of my favorite sets right now, the Rare Terra Steel Iron Head variant. Oh, it's right here. They put it. There's also this set that's running around right now, which is Silk Scarf. Blunder showed it off on a video, but it's Dragonite Silk Scarf Extreme Speed. So Silk Scarf just boosts Extreme Speed even further. It actually allows you to knock out Chien-Pao +1 guaranteed. And with Hurricane, and Hurricane allows you to deal with Great Tusk, right? It allows you to nuke Great Tusk, and then it runs Earthquake as well. So it's a really cool set. Sometimes it runs Hurricane, Extreme Speed, Roost, Dragon Dance. I love being walled by Gholdengo, but
bro, I saw this one set recently that was Dragon Dance Encore.
Yes, that set's really good too. So
Yeah.
that set's really good because that set actually pairs, and I'm surprised it's not here, but that set, I think NJP made it, but that set pairs with, or him and Vertex, but that set pairs with Toxic Spikes, right? You run with Glimmora, you run Toxic Spikes. The Unaware Mon gets Toxic. They try and go for Curse because your Dragonite's up. So, like, for instance, like Dondozo's not going to Wave Crash immediately. It's going to Curse up because they usually expect you to have Roost. If they've gotten T-Spiked, you go for Encore after, and then they get locked in a Curse. They're taking T-Spike damage. You can Dragon Dance up and just repeatedly do damage on something else coming in, or you can just attack them and damage either something coming in or later beat it. It's a good set.
It's a really smart set. Yeah.
It's very good. But like Finch said, it's a good Pokemon. I don't think it's broken in the slightest. In the absolute slightest. Maybe Hyper Offense might think it's broken because their Gholdengo didn't trick right, or wasn't running Air Balloon, or it's not Terra Flying. I don't know. But I don't think it's broken.
I'm on the same wavelength with that one.
Gholdengo. One of the best Pokemon in the game. Number 2 in usage, number 1 in usage the month before. Let's look at these nice little sample sets. So you got Choice Scarf, one of the most common ones with Terra. Fighting usually because it can allow it to take on Chien-Pao and can Gambit and Focus Blast. And sometimes it runs Nasty Plot, sometimes it also runs Recover, so it allows it to have longevity versus fatter teams. And then you have Air Balloon, which is Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Focus Blast, or Substitute. I've definitely seen Recover more on that. I've also seen Heavy Duty Boots on stall teams, just because Gholdengo works on any type of team in my opinion. I've also seen, obviously, I've seen defensive, I've seen physically defensive and special defensive with Terra Flying, which I think is really cool. And the one I showed you guys before, which I think it's one of its best sets right now because it's the guard just killer, which is Covert Cloak, Nasty Plot, Recover, Bulkier. And I like it a lot too because when you run Bulkier and you Terra Flying, you beat other Gholdengo guaranteed with Shadow Ball because you're modest. So you actually kill them because you're modest, whereas they, even if you didn't Terra, they don't kill you from full because they're timid. But you're modest, so you actually kill them with Shadow Ball. And plus you become a flying type. And you eat like Pyro Balls from Cinderace, which just came out. And speaking of Ace, it's cool to see the Mon that can court change on this thing as good as Gold ability. but these are its most common sets. And Gholdengo has been on this list. Oh, I don't actually. This is the first time. I don't remember, but the curious case for the tiering of Gholdengo enters a new chapter with its second inclusion. Second one, coming up empty-handed last time. Argument to be acted on. Not of sheer strength so much as holistic utility and metagame consequences. It definitely has a hold in the metagame. Ability can block defog, while ghost typing can block rapid spin. It also blocks mortar spin. Helps litter a metagame with spike distribution than ever with entry hazards. That's debatable because black and white before extra drill was literally spikes plus Alakazam, but I get what they're getting at. Of course, Gholdengo being such a great Pokemon standalone helps solidify this role as prominent, even metagame defined with a couple of fantastic sets that fit onto many archetypes. But don't you think many would argue that it is problematic offensively without the strings attached? It is a very strong presence offensively without doubt, as both Choice Scarf and Nasty Plot variants, and also Specs is good too, can serve a common role. But there's a firm line that can be drawn between it and some of the others on the radar, perhaps. Ultimately, the utility argument coupled with its strong offensive presence is enough to get a discussion off the ground and make it a very complicated topic for us to dissect. Not only Pokemon who mandate a quick ban require an overwhelming amount of evidence pointing towards a ban, and I'm unsure that we're approaching that territory. We certainly have a lot of evidence pointing towards Gholdengo being one of the defining Pokemon that set the tone for a number of metagame dynamics that span far beyond just its usage. It's a cause for trouble. I don't think we can say so without hesitation, but it is a cause for more discussion and observation as we dig deeper into the life spans of our metagame. Dude, it's a good Pokemon. You can't defog. A lot of people like to switch it in on Great Tusk and get Earthquake, which is very funny. Or Headlong Rush or Knocked Off. Obviously, the air balloon ones are definitely better, but if you knock off first, you do so much to them anyway, and then they have to Terra to live the next hit, or they make it rain. Cinderace being allowed is, I don't think Cinderace is that great, personally, guys, because of the nerf to Liberal, even if it did get Swords Dance, because you become normal type. But the best Cinderace set at the moment, in my opinion, and I've been hours and hours of playing with Ace, is High Jump Kick, U-Turn, Pyro Ball, Heavy Duty Boots with Court Change, simply because you don't have to worry about hazards. You just swap them to the other opponent, and that's it. You swap them to the other side. And I really like it, especially with, as a nice little, hey, Gholdengo, you're not blocking my Court Change. And you're not blocking anything like that. And like a lot of other people have counterplay in Ting Lu. Ting Lu eats every hit. Corvi can get Spadef dropped a couple times, but it can wall, for the example. Guard can wall if it Terra Waters, and if it Terra Fairies, it walls Shadow. Well, it doesn't wall Shadow Ball, but it still can actually eat and make it rain, which is crazy. Just how good, especially defensive one is. It's a metagame defining Pokemon. It's like, in my opinion, it's like Snorlax and GSC. It's metagame defining. I don't think it's broken. It's just there.
I can say I love Gholdengo, and I can also say I hate Gholdengo. That ability is so annoying, bro. Like,
no status.
You know me, I love Corviknight coming in. Yeah, I can't even defog with my Corviknight. Like, yeah, bro. I don't know. Yeah, Gholdengo is, I mean, it's a really good Pokemon, and that's kind of why it's being used a lot. And it fits on so many teams, right? It fits on offense with like blocking hazard removal. It fits on more balanced teams, like with Nasty Plot, whatever. Scarf is just all around consistent. And then on even like defensive teams, I've seen like the Fizz Def sets as well with Recover. It's a really, really good Pokemon. I think its ability is too good as gold. Too good as gold.
Well, is it ban worthy?
Is it ban worthy though? That's the question. Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard for me to say yes. I mean, to me, it's annoying. It's oppressive. Like, it feels oppressive, like Landorus, right? Or oppressive, like it has a grasp on the metagame. But I don't think it invalidates anything. Stall's still around. Offense is still around. Balance is still around. Like, if anything, I hate more screens and Shedtail than Gholdengo.
I love using Gholdengo. I hate facing Gholdengo.
I think I'm iffy about this, man. I don't think it should be banned personally. I do think the metagame would be way different if it was gone, obviously. But you just see a lot more defog like you would see in Gen 8. But
yeah, so there's a lot of counterplay for this Pokemon. Like, this is not a Pokemon that's
it's not
like
sweeping.
Impossible to take down. Yeah, and like its speed tier puts it kind of awkwardly because there's Pokemon like
Great Tusk.
Like Great Tusk, Cerulege is like just a little faster. Like
Rotom,
Rotom, Rotom is faster, right? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think so. It's a little bit of an awkward speed tier at, I think, base 84.
It's 293.
Below 85.
Yeah, it's 293 stat. Which is...
Yeah, so I personally don't think it should be banned. I think it should stay. Just because of the fact that there's a lot of ways to beat this Pokemon. Like, you can't defog versus it. Sure, you can't use regular status moves on it. But other than that, like, I mean, it's just a good mon. It's just, I would say I think it's a better Aegislash in my opinion.
Offensively, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's hard to argue defensively. But yeah, this mon's just crazy. It's crazy in what it can do, but I don't think it's broken. I just don't. It also, like, it's not like it's defensively doing. It's not hard to kill Gholdengo, is what I want to get at as well. It has to come in on so many Pokemon, in my opinion, or it gets forced in by Whirlwind and stuff by Tinglu. It tries to spin block. It comes in on defog from Corviknight, so you U-turn as they come in and you take advantage of that. Like, and this is also a reason why a lot of people are running Hatterene too, because they don't want hazards going up. And that's why Glimmora, which wasn't running Sludge Wave for a while, started running Sludge Wave. And it's also why Hatterene runs Eject Button sometimes, so it can come in on one thing from Glimmora and then switch out.
And a lot of the big spinners can, like, you have to really think twice about switching it in, right? Not even just Great Tusk, you got like Iron Treads as well, which they gotta watch out for.
Shoot, even Glimmora can Earth Power. Like,
yeah, Glimmora can Earth Power too, and then of course, you know, I remember I was running the defog Halucha. That was actually
with Mold Breaker. Yep.
Mold Breaker.
You can do that.
Goes right through it.
Obviously, like we said, we just got Ace, and I mean, it's, and, you know, even offense has counterplay, right? Like, if offense is running Roost on the what's that on Roaring Moon, to both check Gholdengo on this, it easily eats hits and can come in and take it. And also, you get set up screens. Gholdengo doesn't like that. It doesn't like fighting that. It's already lowering its special attack as it is. Make it rain is an incredible move, though. Don't get me wrong. And it's insane that it's so good in VGC as well. But I don't know. I don't think Gholdengo is broken. I don't think it should be banned, personally.
I don't think so either. It's high in usage for a reason, because it's good. I don't think it's ban worthy. I mean, we're not gonna ban Lando T last gen, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it definitely is oppressive in a sense. But I don't know. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Please let them know down below. Subscribe to me and subscribe to Envy. This has been a long video. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely put timestamps. If you actually made it to this part, by the way, can you put down below I made it? Like, I just want to know.
Say I made it and GG it's Envy.
Yeah, or any of those. But yeah, guys, thank you everybody for watching. Subscribe to both of us. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.